All right. It's the Way I See Things podcast, and we're going to break down the Central Florida and Scott Frost, the new coach at Nebraska. The Central Florida playing South Florida.
All right, so Nebraska fans, I'm sure y'all are excited about, bringing the hometown boy back to Lincoln.
And the hottest name in college football coaching this year, no doubt, in my opinion. He was the top get.
Now, I agree with that, and I mean, like we've said in other videos, we are Florida State fans, and we're super happy about
happy to have
Willie Taggart. But I'll tell you what,
Scott Frost is the man.
Scott Frost is the man. And when I started watching just a little bit of his film, I thought it was the best hire of the entire season. When I watched a little bit of his film, I thought it was even a better hire than I realized.
Right. Well, they didn't just win the national championship, so to speak, on luck. They played good football.
Right.
At all levels.
That's right. I mean,
and Scott Frost, his mom and dad coached football. Coached him in high school football. And then he played for Osborne, and then he coached with Chip Kelly. He's got the pedigree, and he's got the wins.
He understands offensive football. Yeah. I can tell you that.
I'm sure Nebraska fans are extremely excited. I would be.
I don't know if there's a receiver we can't see. It looks like what we call ace formation, which is 2x2, and maybe there's a receiver so far at the top of the screen we can't see him. And just to give you little Nebraska fans a heads up, we try to call out every formation, and we use the terminology that I'm used to. All the everybody's got different terminology, so we'll use what I call it, but we'll explain what it means, so you don't have to know it. So when we say ace, we mean 4 wide, 2x2. So just a basic spread look. All right, let's hit play and see what's going on right here. All right, so he faked to the back, then he threw to the back. Now, that wasn't the first option. It was a check down route. All right, pause it. So I want to say for a second what we've kind of seen in a little bit we've watched this offense. Everybody knows that Scott Frost was a triple option quarterback when he played for Nebraska. And it was a different type of triple. It was an old school, wishbone, flexbone, Maryland eye or eye bone, heavy run, 2 tight ends a lot of the times. Well, if you ask most coaches, what are the 2 hardest offenses to stop? Or if you say, what's the hardest offense to stop? What you'll hear more than any other, if you ask a coach, they'll say triple option. A triple option is really hard to stop. One reason it's so hard to stop now is nobody does it. So the I formation, which is what you see, is the easiest. That's the
triple option like Nebraska used to run.
Oh, yeah. Oh yes, like what Georgia Tech does.
Yeah, that's considered the hardest offense to stop.
Yeah, because it's. Well, think about it like this right here. Why can Georgia Tech have inferior athletes to Georgia, but they've got a winning record against Georgia over the last 6 years or something like that. At least it's close.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so they definitely don't have as good of players as Georgia. It's hard. It's hard to prepare for, and it's
Well, you got to be so disciplined. I guess it takes a lot of the athleticism out. You've got to be disciplined.
It does. It takes a lot of athleticism out. The other offense that you hear a lot about is teams that can spread it, and this is where it gets a little hard to define a spread. But teams that are able to spread the field and get the ball to athletes in space. That's another really hard one to stop, especially if they got a quarterback that can move a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what makes Scott Frost so appealing and what I think would make Nebraska fans so ecstatic is he's the best I've seen at bringing the triple option and the triple option concepts and the spread concepts and bringing them together and making having a seamless offense out of it. There was a lot of talk, 10 years ago about how good Urban Meyer would run the spread option. And he did. But when you watch Scott Frost, I would say there's 3 options on 80% of the plays he runs. And that we're talking about running. There's, of course, when you pass the ball, there's options everywhere. But,
yeah.
So I wanted to say that before we got started. He's fun to watch now because he does things so fast, and he just attacks. He's not scared. He plays. He's aggressive, but he's pretty safe too. So.
Which we talk about a lot's the key to good offense. Being aggressive and being safe.
Okay, so we are back in so we said ace is 2x2. So we would call this like ace wing left. So it's 2x2, but on the left side there's a wing. And that's probably we've talked a lot about an H back or a Y back, blocking type back that can catch. And that's probably what they've got at that Y. If you'll notice, that's really important in these offenses to have that guy. All right, so they're bringing him in motion from one side to the other. All right, and so if you notice right there, they run an inside zone, but what did that guy that came over did? He flared out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So that's triple option.
Right.
All right, pause it. That's the triple option. He can give it to the back. Quarterback can keep it, or he can throw it out there to that guy. So what that's doing is making you honor that guy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good example of most coaches don't do that. Not on every play. All right, let's run to the next one. All right, so this is ace formation again, 2x2, a balanced set. They've got 6 guys in the box. And they run just outside zone right there. Outside zone. But it was a read. I know it was a read because of the way the quarterback held onto the ball.
Nearly every play he's going to be reading something. And this quarterback, it can...
Yeah, and it was a read. And there's no need to go back, but it's probably a triple option as well. Okay, so we're ace again. So they're running ace right now. 2x2, pretty balanced. Now, if you'll notice, last time... South Florida had 6 guys in the box. This time they've got 7. All right. So see, that was a read. That was a run pass option, and the quarterback made a great play and he just barely missed it. But that was again. He's given options over and over and over again. Used to it was
that should have been a touchdown too.
Oh yeah. All right. So let's get to the next one. All right, so this is trips. Is this trio, or is there a wide receiver at the bottom that we can't see?
I think there's one at the bottom. No,
there's a tight end. Okay, got you. It was unbalanced, is what it was, which is another thing. Nebraska used to do that all the time.
Sure did.
So it's you're
just adding
you can see the offense that he run in. When he was a player, all in this, but people would just think, oh, they're spread, they're nothing like that. Well, it's very similar. They're just, he's taking it to the next level. All right, so this is a trips formation. It's trips to the field. It's real quick. When we say field, that means that's to the wide side. The short side we'll call the boundary. All right, now this is it's third down. So you expect some type of blitz or something like that, They faked the blitz, and they made the stop. But South Florida did something stupid. But what I've seen is he's really strong in the run game. He's also really strong in the screen game. Like, to me, it's the 3 pillars of his offense would be screen game, well, 1 is run game, 2 is screen game, and 3 is run pass option. Like that's what Nebraska is going to hang their hat on.
Hey, that's all the spreads we've broke down several teams now, and I love the different wrinkles you get with each team. Each team puts their own wrinkle into it.
That's right.
But what we're seeing a lot, especially the last 3 teams we've broke down, is they like to run. They like power football in the trenches.
Right. The biggest difference between Scott Frost. So we've looked at Willie Taggart, we've looked at Scott Frost, and we've looked at Chad Morris. To me, the thing that separates Frost from those two is the option element, the pitch. The pitch is not. Now those other coaches do zone read,
right,
and they do run pass option.
But he's added this pitch element.
He's got the pitch into it too.
Right, gotcha.
All right. Okay, so this is more of a power set, twins on one side, and then you got a tight end and like a wing or 2 tight. I mean, the wing or being a wing or tight doesn't matter too much. You know that it's a wing because one of the wide receivers is on up high. It's just something you could look at. This is definitely a run-heavy formation. That was pretty crazy. Scott Frost used to run at quarterback the counter, what we would call counter option, which, so like, and I don't want to get too in depth here, but like, let's say you're running veer. So you're putting the ball back and you're reading the defensive end. If the defensive end crashes down the line, then you're attacking the outside linebacker and you're pitching off of him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's triple option. So the first option is to give it to the fullback if the defensive end doesn't crash. Then let's say he crashes, then the quarterback attacks the force player, or probably be the outside linebacker. So
attacks the edge.
If that outside linebacker goes with the pitch, the quarterback turns it up and goes upfield. That's the second option. If that outside linebacker attacks the quarterback, he pitches it. That's triple. That's the veer. The counter is when you fake the fullback going right, and then you spin and go left. Well, I've never seen anybody do that in a gun. Well, that's what he just did right there. He had his back and he just faked and then spun and went away from it. That takes some guts. You know, I've never seen a coach do that and spread football. And, you know, here it is. You know, I'm telling you, Scott Frost is kind of he's breaking some norms.
And
the reason that's important is because when you're getting ready to play a team, if the quarterback is facing you, you play that differently. Because if you crash down the line, it's obvious that he may keep it. But you're not telling the backside guy to slow play it. You're telling him to get flat down that line and tackle the back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can't do that if he might pull that out. So I mean, the guy he's about to hurt some feelings in the Big Ten.
Yeah,
it's going to happen.
They're going to be good in a hurry.
Quick. Okay, so we look like, I think we got that same formation we talked about earlier, which we'll call ace wing right, and maybe the wing may be about to go into motion here. Yep, he's motioning across, so you're getting leverage. It's the same. All right, now they throw it to him. Remember we showed that earlier.
Right.
Maybe the first play of the game.
Right.
So that's triple option. It's a different triple option. Now, and I also want to tell y'all guys.
Rewind that. I want to see that again.
We're watching this in real time. It's not like I'm knowing what play's about to happen. I've just watched his offense and I know what he does.
Okay, I got you.
And, you know, there you go. You pick up 15 yards. And that's a tight end. That's the third option. It's not a running back. It's not a wing. It's so anybody in his offense can be a weapon.
Getting athletes in space and getting mismatches.
There you go. Absolutely. All right, so we're in one of our. Is the quarterback by itself, or is there a back on the other side?
There's a back there with it.
So this is one of our favorite formations that we see teams run all the time. It's called what we call trio. So it's a tight end on one side and then the trips away. It's a good set. Okay, that was more of just a drop back. It looked like what we call 97 or all vert. This is empty. Okay, so the first formation, the first series, if you remember, it was a ton of ace, 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 ace. Now this formation, this series, 3 plays, 3 different formations. Mm-hmm. So we call this empty right, trips on the right, twins on the left. Motion to the backfield. It's triple option again. That's all. That's what he's can run zone read. He's running zone read with a bubble screen attached to it. So it's fun to watch.
It is fun to watch. I didn't realize that's what he was doing. I'm enjoying this.
Yep. All right, so we're empty left this time. Okay, start that at the beginning. I want to see if that's a read or if it's called to one side. Get ready to pause it. I want to tell you, pause it. All right. What that is, it's a double screen. I mean, that's obvious, but I didn't know if he was. Sometimes you just do a screen on one side, but you're planning on throwing another one. Sometimes it's a read. That was a read.
What was he reading?
He's reading that outside linebacker on the left side. If that outside linebacker attacked the screen, he's going to throw screen on the backside.
Gotcha.
And so that's exactly what I used to run that exact plan. We called it Bama because Alabama runs that screen. It can be out of different formations,
right?
But so like they were trips, so they're running the bubble. A lot of times you will run it instead of trips on that side. That guy being the backfield, he'll run a swing. So you'll read that if that defensive end or outside linebacker goes with the swing or the bubble, then you throw jailbreak screen to the other side. That's exactly. Which, like I said, screen game's that's a complex screen to run. And I can tell you a little story. I was talking with the offensive coordinator at Georgia Southern about 3 years ago. And this was the coaches at Georgia Southern. They're now at Tulane, but they had a lot of success at Southern. Really, really good offensive minds. And we were discussing, their triple option spread now. But they're not doing. But they don't run screens. And he asked me. I mean, they run some screens, but not like what they do at Central Florida. I told him I had never put the pitch into. We run zone read, but had never added the pitch to it. And he said, "Why?" And I said, "Well, it's because we spend so much time on our screen game. I didn't feel like I had time to be really good at the pitch and be really good at the screen game." He said, "Well, that's the exact reason we don't do a lot of screens."
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is he's really good at both of them.
Right.
He must be an amazing teacher and really organized because he's kidding off. They're good at a lot of different things. Mm-hmm. Really good. And now, guys, say this: it takes the right guy at quarterback.
They got a great quarterback.
Got a great quarterback. So if Nebraska has that kind of guy that can do all that,
I doubt they're going to have anybody that good.
I think their starter is going to be a freshman.
Really? I don't have any idea. I mean, that guy in Central Florida he's a good quarterback.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's going to be as good as a Central Florida guy, but I mean, for everything that I've read is that their quarterback's going to be a freshman, and if they
came in with Frost, if Frost brought in with
so.
him, he may have found him.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
I hope so. Football's better when Nebraska's good.
It is.
It's just fun.
Right. You want Nebraska and Michigan and
Yeah.
I do at least. It's just fun.
Yeah, it's fun when Nebraska's.
Okay, so we got trio again. Trio left. They're creeping on 7 guys in the box. So they just swapped and ran speed option. We've talked about that swap before. A lot of defenses, they look at what side the back's on, and that determines their defense. So if the back's on the right, they may be slanting left because usually the back's got to come across.
Yeah.
You know, there's different things you're looking for when you're facing a spread, and one of them is what side the back is on. So it was kind of interesting that they, you know, swapped and then ran speed option. And it could be that, see, some teams run to their strength. Some teams like to run to the opposite the back. So if the back's on the right, they're going to run left because that's just something teams do. Some teams like to run to their sidelines, which is, you know, that seems crazy, but it's true. I bet you, just from that, I bet you that Central Florida had a tendency to do things to the wide side of the field. And the reason I say that is because you have more room with the triple option. Especially, they may be riding zone this way and going left with a triple option off of it. So if that's the case, that's why they motioned him to the short side and then run speed option to the short side.
I don't know how much Chip Kelly watched, but how similar is what he's doing to what Chip Kelly did when he was at Oregon? Did Chip Kelly have the option aspect of it?
Not like they're running it.
I didn't think.
But he's got it now.
Well, right, but not like the.
All these coaches have this in their playbook. They just don't do it a lot because it's dangerous.
Right.
And they don't trust their quarterback. You know, but look, that's been the story of football for 50 years. They used to not throw the ball because I remember being young and hearing coaches say, when you throw the ball, ain't but 2 things are going to happen, and both are bad.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then things change. So, you know, he's definitely
pushing the envelope a little bit.
Definitely. And he's making it normal to play on that edge a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, so we got trio left again. So he trips away from the tight end.
He likes his formation. He runs it a good way and puts it back in motion.
So this is something new. And so they run a crossing route with the tight end. He definitely thinks outside the box. There's some aspects of his play calling that remind me of Peterson out in Washington.
Yeah.
Not the same type of offense or anything like that, but there's like a creative. There's something about them that makes me think of each other. Just like they're completely outside the box. So they're not following any rules.
They're not limiting themselves to anything, pretty much.
Right. That's probably the best way of explaining it. Ace.
And what you've talked about in several other games is how in college football a lot of times teams give the edge away. Is that what happened right there?
Exactly.
They just gave the edge.
That's exactly what happened. They had their offensive line blocked zone right, and they run outside zone to the left because I think what they're saying is the defensive end will be influenced by that blocking, and then there's nobody else out there.
Yeah. You can
give somebody that was super fast. All right, so now this is trips with a wing. I don't know that we've seen this. I will tell you this just from watching this offense a little bit. If I saw that type of formation, I would be worried about him doing something like speed option to the wide side or to the trip or something along those lines. All right, so that was triple option again.
Yeah.
Triple option. But you see what I'm saying earlier when I thought he does seem to like to go to that wide side a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that quarterback's quick, man.
Yeah, he is.
Gets it out of his hands super quick.
I know a lot of people was calling me crazy, but Central Florida would have gave anybody in the country fits last year. They could have played with anybody. Well, they beat Auburn.
All right, right, so they got jet motion, but this is a read guaranteed.
Look at that.
Ooh. That wasn't a read. I was wrong about that. That was just what we would call jet waggle. This is just a play action play, pass off jet. All right, so they had two backs that time, sending one in motion to the short side to the boundary. All right, there was triple option
Ran to
again.
the wide side. He does like to run to the wide side.
And listen, though, we're watching one game right here. It could be that he feels like that's a weakness of.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're going to give you the edge, you might as well run wide
every time.
Okay, so we're empty here again, empty left. All right, so the quarterback's making a check right there.
The offensive line does a good job.
They do a good job, and that's a 15, 18-yard pass, but he got rid of that ball in 2 seconds.
Right. And he's got a clean pocket. His offensive line does a great job.
And they don't have to block long.
Right.
Okay, so what formation are we in right here?
I think it's like ace.
Ace again? Okay. And look, they've run that zone a lot and kept it and thrown it out wide, and now they're slow playing it a little bit, and you see he almost squirted through there right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to watch these games and see how these things start opening up as the game goes on.
See the coach's pride in picking at the defense is trying to find what's there.
That's exactly right. All right, so
is that King's left?
I can't ever tell if there's I think you're right. I think that's, I don't know. It might be trips to the weak side. I mean to the wide side. All right, let's run it and just see. Yeah, that was trips. Run that again. Did he just think he was just going to... It looked like the quarterback saw an edge and thought he can just run out there. I mean, that in itself is an option play. Because he's, he's got the option to throw it to that guy or keep running it. But, and that's probably just taught in the offense, hey, turn around and look, he can throw it to you at any time. All right, now.
Option. Oh, look at that.
That looks like old Nebraska football.
Yes, it does.
Except run that again, Boogie Woogie Man. Except he's just in the gun.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you, when he motioned that guy back there, and there was two backs, I thought, oh, we're about to see the veer. If you've ever seen and remember the Titans, they run the split back veer over and over and over again. That's kind of what you're seeing right there.
Look at that. Perfect.
Man, it's fun to watch.
That is fun to watch.
All right, this is King's left, and we've talked a lot about boundary and how all that works out. It looks like they're playing their boundary guy in the face, and they're playing a field guy up to. He may bail though. Let's run it and see what happens right here. Nice play. That's what we call slip screen, which is you're releasing guards and center, and you're gonna run another play, but then you're gonna slip the back out. And
they do the most of any team we've broke down, I believe.
No doubt. And of the teams we broke down so far, everybody is you kind of get a feel for these coaches and what they like to do. Of the ones we broke down so far, to me, Scott Frost is the most aggressive. He's the most attacking, just attack. Now with that is going to come some turnovers and things like that. But man, he's going to put up points in bunches too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we got empty right. Trips on the right, twins on the left. And, you know, a lot of times they're just going to count. So they really only got, you know, 4 or 5 in the box right here to stop them. So, and that quarterback can run.
Yeah, he can.
Just run a little quick out. Could have been an option route. So this is Kings again. All right. Let's see. Let's run it right there, Joseph. That's that triple option again. But you see now, as we said earlier, it's starting to hit. Starting to hit, and it's because those perimeter players can't crash. They cannot, and they're slow playing it. All right, so that's that. That's trips with a wing. That's the triple option again. And they're doing this like looks like a 240-pound tight end. You know what I mean? That's what nobody does that. But he does it. Guy's a good coach, man.
I mean, they snapped it with 31 seconds last time, but 27 seconds this time?
Yeah.
Can y'all even tell what's going on here?
It looks like they're about to run follow or shallow. That might have been just a lot of times in these spread offenses, you'll see like one guy's going to run they just pick a receiver to throw it to and everybody else blocks. And that could have been the case right then. It was so quick it was hard to tell.
It's like all the coaches he's worked for or played with.
Yep.
They're going to hang their hat on that option though. That's the the straw that stirs the drink with them.
It's hard to stop.
Yeah. I've asked several coaches over the years, which offense do you hate preparing for? And most defensive coaches say it's triple option.
Because you got to be disciplined, and as soon as you're not disciplined, it can be 6. It can be disciplined 60
and
minutes.
Their blocking schemes are so rough on your knees.
You ain't lying, yeah.
So it's hard to simulate it in practice because you don't want to hurt your team.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to break your legs, you know.
Yeah.
All right, so what formation do we have right here, guys? Is this trips to the field?
I think it may be.
Slip screen again. South Florida sniffed it out. Okay, here's that wing again. That was split zone. So when I say split zone, they're going to zone one way. The wing is going to kick out the end on the other side, so there's really no read right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good play to run pass options off of because you've got the front taken care of. Remember how we talked in an earlier video, power is really good to run if you're going to do a run pass option because you
want your front.
You're blocking everybody. So like when you run zone read, you're not blocking somebody. When you run trap, there's usually trap, there's 2 guys up front you're not blocking.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't run those. It's hard to run those in RPO. To me, it's dangerous. Good play to run an RPO with, a good run play is the power play because the front's taken care of. Another good one.
Because the front don't have to change. It don't matter if you run it or throw it. That front's coming out.
Yeah, they're blocking power. If you run a power with a run pass op, they're blocking the power, whatever you call it.
Right.
But split zone is another good one to run because so your offensive line, if it's split zone right, so your O line is blocking zone right, and then your wing or whoever that guy, maybe your fullback, is picking up the left end. So everybody's accounted for.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, just watching him, that makes me think he's probably going to run split zone in a few plays with an RPO on it.
Right.
That seems to be him. He's just always, if he's not attacking you, he's setting you up to attack you.
And they led the country in scoring last year.
Yes, sir. I think that was a triple option. I mean, you know, sometimes it's hard to tell with him if it's a run. I mean, now this sounds crazy because his triple option has a pass, but his triple option is not the same thing as most teams' RPOs. Even though his triple option is a run pass option, so every time he runs triple option, it's a run pass option, but it's not the same scheme of a normal RPO.
Right. Like empty right.
Yeah, empty right, and they're motioning the tight end across. And throw a hitch on the backside. You know, we talked about how he really likes the option game and he really likes the screen game. And he's not afraid to get out here and just drop back and throw it either.
Right. He'll drop back and throw it.
All right, guys, we're going to do one more series and close this thing out. So, coming back and you see there in trips look, you already see this is going to be their zone triple option read. And we've seen the quarterback give it a lot, and we've seen him throw it a lot. That time he kept it.
They put pressure on the defense in every way imaginable, almost.
Right.
Like you said, he'll drop back and throw the ball. They'll run triple option. They'll run screen game. They'll run the power game.
It's just a lot. You let it keep riding.
And they do it well.
Yep.
Which is the key. It don't matter how much you do if you don't do it well.
That's the truth.
They do it all well.
You just, I mean, as somebody that's coached for a long time, you can let it keep playing, Joey. You've heard, for so long I've heard, I'd rather be, you don't want to be a jack of all trades and a master of none.
Right.
That's what everybody used to say. Find something you can do and do it. And I used to always think, I just don't really think that's the best way, but that's what everybody did. So if you did anything other than that, you got hated on a lot. But I like to see guys like Coach Frost who's going out there and not worrying about what the old guys say and just playing ball.
You mentioned Urban earlier, and this is what the hire feels like. It feels like when Florida hired Urban, everybody in the country knew. They may not know why Urban was good, but you had a feeling when they hired him, like, yeah, that guy's a great coach. That's what I feel about Frost. Like, he seeks to show everybody why they went undefeated last year.
It's got that feeling. All right. I was wondering if this would happen. Run that again. Earlier, they run split zone, and I hadn't seen them do it. And we talked about how split zone is a good play to run a run pass option on. So I've kind of just been in my mind waiting to see if we'd see another formation like that. So run the play, Joey. So that split zone, he's reading down here at the bottom. He gets what he likes, so he's throwing it up to him. He don't make the play, but it's a touchdown.
Right.
If he makes the pass.
Yeah.
Nebraska fans, if I were you, I'd be really excited. I'm sure you already are, and you don't need to hear it from two Georgia boys. But we're doing a series and looking at most of the new coaching hires and kind of giving teams at least our thoughts about their offense. And man, we haven't seen anybody better than Coach Frost, in my opinion.
We've looked at some good coaches, some fun coaches.
Yeah, and not knocking the other guys. We're Florida State fans, and we love our hire, but
watched Oklahoma last year. Love what Lincoln Riley's doing out there.
Oh yeah, right.
Hadn't seen a guy that's doing as much as Frost.
No, it's I really believe you got some good times ahead of you. Just stick with it.
Absolutely.
Hey, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. We appreciate y'all. See you later.